big important thing is you never give him money early. He only gets it when he closes with you. You have to own it. And I'm telling you a lot of these things because I've experienced them, unfortunately. It's called OJT for a reason, on the job training. Good, bad, or indifferent. I've done that. So my husband and I have been flipping since 2008, and we've made a nice living doing it, trained a lot of people to do it. But I can tell you, we've learned a lot of things that we shouldn't have done the hard way. So I'd rather you learn the easy way and just follow directions. It's easier. How do you find the money? And that's the other thing. Oh, I can't do this because I don't have any money. Well, I don't care if you don't have any money. First of all, there's always cash, but that's if you didn't have money, you don't have cash. If you have a house, you can get what's called a HELOC. A HELOC is a home equity line of credit. It is not taking out your mortgage that you currently have. You are strictly borrowing the difference between what your mortgage is and what the current market value is of the house. Normally, a bank will do this. It's not going to be a mortgage company. The bank will loan you probably 75% of your value that you have in the house, which is your equity. Okay? Self-directed 401ks. If you have a W-2 job, you have a 401k. If you're vested already in those 401k, you can now, I don't know if you realize this, you can take that money and have it directed in any investment you choose, not whatever their, usually it's somebody like Fidelity Investments or Merrill Lynch or somebody like that. You don't have to follow their instructions. You can do what you would like with your 401k money as long as you are vested in it. It requires a third party, neutral third party to handle that transaction, because if you personally touch the money, and that doesn't mean that you're holding it in your little hands, what it means is it went into one of your bank accounts or any kind of even the remote visualization that the IRS might have that you actually had that money in your hand before it went somewhere else, that becomes what's called a taxable event. Not a good thing. You never want that to happen. So a neutral third party is the one that can handle all the instructions that you give them. They direct the money to closing to buy the asset that you're buying. An asset is a house or any other investment property. It doesn't have to necessarily be a house. And that's how they make the transaction happen. If you already have a rental property, that's really nice because then we can do a cash out refi. When I do a cash out refi on a rental property, I'm going to take the extra that I get, put it into the flip that I'm going to work on, and now I have a new mortgage on that rental. And you go, oh my gosh, it doesn't cover my mortgage anymore. As soon as that mortgage comes up for renewal, or the rental comes up for renewal, you're going to raise the rent. Raising rent is going on all over the place, so it's not a big deal. Of course, the person that's in the house might think so, but you can raise that to cover the new mortgage, and then you've got that extra money that you can work on with your flip. If you start acquiring properties, we have 10 that we work off of. So I can then refinance as I go and as I want to, and then I'll pay off. Refinance, pay off, pay off, and buy another one, another one, so it can be extended. So you can extend and hold up to 10 properties on a conventional mortgage. So that's what we use, and that's how we fund our flips. We didn't start that way. We started with hard money, and I'll talk about that in a second. OPM. OPM is other people's money. Now, that's fabulous. You're going to have somebody that wants to get into the flipping business, but really has no time. They have a full-time job. They have no interest. They just want the profits from it, and they like to walk around at the end and say, hey, we did this. See my flip that I did? It sounds nice. I don't care who takes credit for it. I just want to be able to have that person be an investor with me. So they're going to probably fund what you need, and you're going to give them anywhere from 30 to 50%, depending on how much they funded. If I'm funding less than $500,000 myself, I'm giving 30%. If I'm funding with them over $100,000, then I move it up to about 40. So it's an agreement. It's a written agreement that you will have between you and them on how funds are dispersed. Hard money. Hard money is the key for a lot of beginners. You have to learn how to work the hard money, guys. I can tell you you're going to need about 25, 30,000 to work with the hard money guy. They want you to have some kind of what's called skin in the game. When you took a look at the information that I handed out for you to come to this class, it talked about that I'm going to teach you how to find your flips, fund your flips, fix your flips, and then you get rid of their flips. So find, fund, fix, flip. All right. So next section that is huge is finding the money. That's finding the most important part, because if you don't have the money, you're not going to be able to buy the house, which is called the asset, and you're not going to be able to get the money you need to renovate the house. So number one, cash is always king, but that doesn't mean that you have cash, or you wouldn't be sitting right here asking me how I find the money. So you can use, if you have a house of your own, you can have a HELOC. A HELOC is a home equity line of credit. You're going to get that from a bank. They're going to loan you more than likely. It's based on what you're not going to refinance the house, not refinancing the mortgage. You're going to keep that lower interest rate that you have, but you have equity in your home. So now they're going to give you about 75% of what you owe between the mortgage and what the house is worth right now. So that's the money you use to be able to put your flip together. Self-directed 401k. If you were a W-2 employee anywhere, you have a 401k. After you're vested, that's key, you have to be vested, you can now control the money that's in your 401k. So you can take that money and use it to purchase flips and do the renovation and then generate the money, and the money goes straight back into your 401k. Or you can take that money as cash out, and then it becomes capital gains, obviously. But if you structure your business entity properly, you're going to learn how not to pay many taxes on that in any case anyway. But you do need a neutral third party to handle that, because you cannot physically touch that money. It can't go into your bank account. It can't go into your friend's bank account. It has to go from a neutral third party to wherever you're going to use the money, and then back to them, and then it's cashed out or put into your 401k again. Neutral third party is huge, and I have those, plenty of those I can give you. If you do touch the money, it's called a taxable event by the IRS, and then you take capital gains on that. That's not the best idea for you, and I'm sure that you know that. If you already have rental properties, this one works out well. You can take your rental property and do a cash out refi. You'll take that money that you get from the cash out refi, put it into your flip and your renovation. You're going to now have a different mortgage on that house, and you're going to, when the rent comes up for renewal, you're going to raise the rent some so that you can cover what the new mortgage is. And then you can continue to do that up for 10 houses. That's how much conventional will allow you to have at one time, is 10 houses or 10 pieces of investment property. I guess I should say that, because it can be used for duplexes, fourplexes, eightplexes, and 16plexes. Anyway, that's what you can use that for. OPM, that's other people's money. That means you can find, and usual people will start talking to you about, I have some money and I would love to invest it, but I don't want to be in the fixing business. I don't want to have any responsibility for anything. I don't know how to fix anything anyway. I just want to make more money. Why don't I give you that as an investment and you give me a return? A contract is required between you and whoever that person is. Keeps you from being in trouble. So they know exactly, there's no misunderstandings on who was supposed to get what at the end of the deal. Because I can tell you that memories get fuzzy when money is involved. Hard money. That's the first one. If you're a rookie flipper, that's probably the first one you're going to learn to work with first. Those guys there's a ton of them. They all have different ways that they set up what's called their term sheet, which is what happens when they loan you how much on this, they give you this much, they charge you this much. It all is different per lender. Just like anybody else, your mortgage companies are all different as well. So hard money is something that I will walk you through. When you're in the 2.5-day class, we actually talk to a hard money lender, so you get a chance to see what all they talk about and how fast they talk. It's an education in itself, I can promise you that. Private money or SDIRA. That private money is actually your self-directed IRA because you personally have put, if you're a self-employed person or a solopreneur, you have more likely put some money aside that is gaining interest for you. Now you can self-direct what that IRA money is used for. You still need a third party, a neutral third party to handle the transaction, however. You can do partner deals. Those are when you're working with somebody else that does have the money, or you're both going to be involved in the business. So you split how much money this is going to be put in, or they put in the money, you put in the work. However, you put that together is strictly structured by a contract, and it varies per person because it just depends on what makes them comfortable. Subject to financing. That one's one of my favorite. That's when you've got a seller that is willing to not sell quite as low as I want, but close enough. But if I have to, I will give him a deal where maybe I'll pay him 20% on what I make on the property if he will sell me the house subject to his current financing in place. He's probably got a 3 or a 4% interest loan. So I make up a lot of the difference of what I'm not paying on interest fees to a hard money guy. Hard money guys charge between 12 and 16%. I've seen a little higher, but it does get pricey, and they charge no less than 2 points, usually 3 points. A point is 1% of whatever you borrow from them. So it gets expensive, and you have to be able to know how fast you got to work and be able to do everything expeditiously as possible because you don't want to have that loan out for very long. But it comes in handy when you need it. Gap funding. If you have got no way to put together your business, but you do have decent credit, then you can use gap funding. Gap funding will give you between 50 and 100,000 per partner. So I strongly suggest that you do this business with a partnership. And that can be your wife, it can be your husband, it can be your daughter, your son, it can be any relative, it can be anybody actually, and any other business partner that you have. Each one of you can apply separately and get either 50 or 100,000. That comes in real handy and gives you more than enough money to fund a flip or fund starting up your business, paying for your website, paying for your LLC. All of the legal documents have, that's $2,500 usually. So it pays for those kind of things. One of the things that you'll see is strangest thing on the list, and that's an unsecured credit card. Don't laugh. This is how my husband and I started in the flipping business. We had a black American Express, still do, and we took it and did a cash, went and got cash value out of it, where they charge you a little bit higher interest, but we borrowed our cash that we could off of our American Express. Now, yes, I was paying 29% on that money, but it motivated the heck out of me to be finished in 90 days and put it back into and pay off that credit card. It gave us what we needed to start because 2008 was when the market crashed. I'm sure some of you know that. So it gave us what we needed, and we didn't use that for too long, but I did do it for 3 or 4 flips. Works out, but here's the cool thing it does for you. It gives you mileage for trips. So now I had free vacations on top of money to do my flips. I think that's a pretty good deal altogether.